What's going on, guys? My name's RoleplayingRykin and welcome to the very first episode of Battlefield Trip Friday. Now, this is a series that I'm going to do every week or bi-weekly where I go through someone's gameplay, point out techniques and strategies that were used in the hopes that you guys will pick up a little bit of knowledge and help improve your gameplays. I'm also going to point out mistakes that these people made in the hopes that they can better their gameplays or even that you don't make the same mistake yourself. Now, YourGirlFist sent me over this gameplay and I'm going to go and review it, and already we can see we're kitted for a very aggressive close quarters loadout. We're using the AEK, which has a rate of fire of 900 rounds per minute, and it has a max damage of 25 up in close range, which means that we're already going to be dealing high amounts of damage really fast. Then we've got a flashlight, which is kitted out for blinding opponents and disorientating them and stopping them landing a solid shot on us. Now, I can see there's a motion sensor down to our left, so there are people in this area. We should be crouched down to try and stay off that minimap, but it ends up working out to our advantage because someone comes to see us and they're prone, which is a big no-no. Now, as you're going to see here, these two guys face off, they down each other, and we're just going to peek these corners and not go for a Rambo revive, which could lead to us getting picked off as we try to cross the open area. Now, already we're seeing good limiting those angles of exposure. We're not exposing ourselves to any open angles, hugging in against the walls to stop people getting a solid shot on us, and we're trying to cover ground fast. Now, if you had used burst fire there, you would have probably ended up getting a more solid shot, and that's really good target acquisition right there. All those shots landed perfectly, and we ended up doing really well at taking that guy out. So already we can see we've got really aggressive gameplay here. We're not staying still for too long. Our target acquisition is good, and we're still playing the objective and keeping our squad mates up and running. Because we're playing team deathmatch there, tickets are valuable. Now, we were out in the open there and probably should have peeked that corner a little bit slower. And I'm going to show you a situation in one of my gameplays at the moment where I try to put myself in this YourGirlFist shoes here and just try not to expose myself too much. And I just play this objective and show you how I would have approached this situation. Now, as you can see here, I'm a little bit lost at the start. I've just got into this game and I'm trying to find out what's going on. So I'm going to run around and see, can I play off that situation the same way as before. Now, it does end up working out a little bit differently for me. I have a lot of level 100s in the area and they've decided to use smoke, but not exposing myself too much. I'm running around and trying to stop this guy getting a solid hit on me. I know he was going for the smoke kill, but still I want to make sure I don't end up exposing myself. So I'm going to play this area for a little while and see, can I get into the same situation and show you what I would have done. And as you can see here, I'm just bobbing on this corner, trying not to expose myself too much or be caught out in the open in a reload or anything of the sort. So as I can see here, I hear a guy scream, so I'm going to peek slowly, burst fire, and pick off my target quickly. So we've reached a lull period in the game where we're not quite sure where the fight is going on, and YourGirlFist is just hunting for the targets at the moment and doing a really good job of covering ground. Now, nice twitch reflexes there, nice target acquisition, and we end up downing that guy really efficiently. That is a solid kill. This guy ends up getting away, but we're going to go for a reload, cover it with a grenade in case he tries to peek back, and throw our med pack down in case we need to duck into cover quickly. Snap out a really quick peek and down that guy. His gun was low and he was sprinting, so we had the advantage also with the flashlight. Now, I'm going to explain what happened here really quick. Alright guys, so I'm going to go through the reloading and what I took from the video by watching it, and this is a mistake I commonly make myself, and it's one of those things that if you tell yourself about it, eventually you'll start to stick and you won't make that mistake. So I'm going to use this to resemble the archway down towards C flag, this is down towards A flag, and this is the coffee stand over here. So what ended up happening was Fist Pump came through, started reloading here, and was already as far as the coffee stand here before she took fire from this door and down this area. So already we're really exposed in this area, and there was nothing we could do except switch to secondary. Now, that was one of the issues, is switching to secondary was someplace where you can work on, where just toggling back and forward. The AEK is powerful, it does have a long reload time, so being able to switch over and fire off quick shots is advisable. Now, what I would recommend doing is either to, before you come through this archway, stick to this wall, pull off your reload. That way, anyone that runs through that door, the chances are if you're hugging this wall, they're not going to see you and you can snap off quick fire. Or what you could do is just double back down here, and reload your weapons so that you can cover this angle when you want to pop out, because there's a lot of areas on that corridor that you could take cover behind, or even alcoves you could hide in. Now, your girl Fist is after demonstrating some really nice situational awareness. A shot went off and she spun instantly to check was there anyone behind her, which shows she's aware of what's going on the map and she's sort of in the zone. Now, some really nice stairwell covering here, making sure no one's camping from above. And here's a point that I'm going to talk about now. There was a med pack on the ground there. There were no ally blips in the map, and generally what medics do is they always throw down their med packs when they're on the move. Now, there was a guy camping that doorway, and it was his med pack that you could see. It's a very subtle point, but just when you're going through a doorway, always think in the frame of mind that there's going to be someone camping watching this doorway. It means that you're going to peek more cautiously, and if you're peeking really well, it means that you'll take a shot and be able to jump around the corner quickly before he can down you. Now, it's not a point that you're always going to be successful, but if you think about it, that every doorway you go through may have someone watching it, you're going to be playing a lot more cautious in doorways and you won't get taken out as often. Now, we're seeing some really nice covering the map, checking corners, just being aware, and we see 2 downed bodies here, so we know there are people in this area and there's combat. Nice frag to just cover behind that wall where we can't see, and some really nice hip fire there. Hip fire to ADS is a really effective tactic where you start out just putting bullets in early and then get your more refined shots with your ADSing. Now, you see nice use of prone here. We're reviving, reloading, not giving our enemies any opportunity to get an easy kill off on us. Suppress this enemy back into the alcove and allow our allies to get a really nice kill off on him. Now, you got an 87 kill assist. That guy could have ended up getting 2, maybe even 3 kills on your team and would have wiped that right hand side, which would have compromised you on the left hand side. Now, we can see 4 guys on the right hand side and yourself and 1 more guy on the left hand side. Your target on the left hand side here has a beat on you because his laser pointer is within 10 degrees, which would make him a priority target. Now, we went for the guy on the right hand side, which wasn't advisable. He had a lot more problems. He had 4 guys on his angle of exposure, and you had 1 guy who had a line of sight on you and you were in the open. Now, it's not a problem. We've spawned back up in behind them and we can relaunch the assault again. Now, see, nice situational awareness. We've spotted the body on the stairs and we're just going to take it slow, peek those corners. Now, as you see, that guy's hitbox was flying all over the place. He was jumping around and trying to get over the wall. He mantled it, which widens up his hitbox and makes it harder for you to hit the target. Now, I wouldn't have recommended using fully automatic fire there. What happens is your cone of fire and your spread is so high that it's going to be hard to hit someone. Now, also, because you've got such a fast rate of fire gun, you're going to tear through an entire clip really fast. A 4 to 5 shot burst would have worked beautifully there because you would have been able to put those shots on target. It takes 6 shots maximum to take out an opponent because the minimum damage is 18.5, which means it doesn't take a lot of ammunition to down an opponent with this weapon. And if you're using your ammunition wisely, you can end up taking out 3, 4, even 5 guys with 1 clip of the AEK if you land them all on target, which is a hard thing to do. Now, there was nothing wrong with this situation. You ended up stretching it out, but you were going to get flanked, so it was going to be a win-lose situation where if you had gone in, you could have cleared that room and dived in, but that was going to be hard to do. I think you got cheated out and deserved at least 1 more kill. Now, we're back into our old spot here. Nice target acquisition here. You managed to not use all the clip, but still managed to down the opponent as he's sprinting. Now, here we see we're going to be driving people back into cover, using this area to our advantage. Now, someone knows that you're here already, and this is a part that I really like, where we're down in cover, get our reload, and move. They know we're there, so they're going to come looking for us, and we're just going to take cover here, reload, and watch. Now, here, hitting through the wall is harder, and we're still using the fully automatic fire. Now, we stopped. Now, I would have placed a grenade on this spot that I've marked with the X because it's really the only way out. If you cover 1 with your crosshairs and 1 with the grenade, he can't get out of that room and the explosion would take him out. Now, here's the guy, blue skies again, ripping everyone to pieces. He's got the shotgun and he's going a bit ham with it. Now, there's nothing you can really do. It is a tight map, and there are situations where you round a corner and it's just too close to engage someone, and he does have the advantage. Now, here's a nice piece where we managed to get revenge on blue skies, take him out, and we just cover the body with a little bit of fire, keep the medics away from him, stop them getting back their tickets. Now, here's a point. 1 guy ends up slipping past. we managed to put a bullet in this guy and know he's about to peek this corner. So that was some nice pre-fire in there. We were hitting him before he even rounded the corner, and the guy actually didn't end up standing a chance against us because of the rate of fire of this weapon. Now that engineer is going to come back and bite us in the ass. He's actually crossing the top now and about to come down the stairs that we just passed there. Now there's nothing we can really do here, and here's some nice alternating burst fire that we're about to see. I'm going to comment on that a little bit later, and there's the engineer that ended up slipping past. Now I'm going to go through rate of fire and ranges of engagement at the moment, and Fist Pump demonstrated some nice alternating fire when she was put under pressure. Now as she went, she started firing in a burst mode, which started off like... Now as you can see by firing at that, she got a pretty wide spread off that burst fire. Now, because there were 2 targets, it would have probably been better to just stop and go. Would have had a lot of a tighter spread. As you'll see from this, there was no recoil control there, but they were all very tight to each other. Now, you can end up just going... And that's with recoil control. There is only 3 bullets there, and they're all my bullets landed in the same area. So by just burst firing at a longer range, you're going to be able to get off those quick kills. Now another thing you could have done is, because no one was engaging you, you can stop, take a knee, and then start to fire. As you can see, I've only got 3 to 4 bullets, which are these ones here, where I ended up straying off the target, but they all would have been headshots had you been on target. So where I'd advise using fully automatic would be at a range where you're nearly just up in this area here, and the guy's no further away than here. Anything beyond that point, I would recommend just putting a burst fire in, and that's going to end up tightening up your ammunition, and you're not going to end up dumping full magazines into targets. You're going to be able to conserve that ammo and use it a lot more wisely. Now another key factor that I saw in the video was knowing when to go prone. There were a lot of points where if you'd been behind a piece of cover, going prone would have been an option. You then move, or then there's the slip and slide, where you can sort of slide in Battlefield, where if you're running, hit prone, you can sort of move from one side to another and get out of dodge. I use this an awful lot if I'm in an area like this where I'm just a little bit out of cover. I hit sprint, prone, and then up, and it allows me to move from one area to another. I'm not exactly dolphin diving, but I'm definitely getting out of dodge, and it helps me out a lot. Now, one thing I don't advise doing is firing while going prone. I'm going to hold down my trigger here, and I'm just going to show you the difference between when I can start firing, start going prone, and when I can start firing again. There is a massive gap, and look at all the shots that I missed in the middle here just by going prone. Now, what would be faster is if you're just to take a knee, you can keep up that fire, and you don't stop firing at all, which means you're going to be able to down your opponent really fast. And the only time people really go prone is if there's someone up in this general area. They go prone and try and aim high and get those shots off. Now, you're not going to be able to take out your opponent as fast as you think. You're going to put them off guard, but they're still going to be able to shoot you while you're in this exposed position. So rather than doing that, if you're up in this area, I recommend just taking a knee, and you're going to be able to down your opponents really fast. So overall, this was a really good gameplay. You demonstrated some really nice techniques. Need to work on peeking, using your sidearm, and using burst fire an awful lot more. You've got really good squad gameplay, really good target acquisition and twitch reflexes, and overall just play a nice aggressive gameplay. Now, working on using that sidearm is going to be one of those things that you really need to focus on, because in the situation that's about to arise here, you went for the reload in the heat of combat where you should have switched over to your sidearm. But overall, some really good gameplay. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this episode, and if you like it, please feel free to leave a much appreciated up rating. Comment down in the comments box below, let me know what you think about the gameplay. Make sure to hit up your girl Fist. She's got some great channels, great topics, and it's well worth checking out. Now, if you're interested in sending in a gameplay and having me do a Battlefield Trip Friday, just send it on to me or to We Are The Order and I'll get over to it. That's going to be it from me, guys. Until next time, take care, and peace out, bros. they can walk around getting revived.